Hey everybody, this is Efren Esparza from
Nameless Anonymous.
and I've got another cool gear video for you. I'm actually really excited about this one. It's not a joke this time, and I'm not looking for any free stuff. I'm actually just kind of chronicling my adventures with my first tube amplifier that I've ever bought. It is used, and I actually have some repairs to make on it that I'm ready for. But I'm going to walk you through what I got and what I'm going to do and all the little things that I've done since buying it. It's been a few weeks, and I've had a busy, really busy few weeks. And then I think by the time of the release of this video, I might even have had an extra week of busyness. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to a video I took with my phone to show you all everything on this motherfucker and introduce my new piece of gear that hopefully by the time that my November shows roll around that I'll be able to bring that out with me instead of my Randall, but I'm not sure, so it has to be like tested in a group and everything. So anyway, here without further ado, the Egnater Vengeance.
Da 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 da! Here is the Egnater Vengeance and my new speaker cabinet, the PV5150 4x12. So, to walk you a little bit before, through a little story before actually showing you this stuff, I bought this from a gentleman out in Greensboro. He was offering just the cabinet on their Craigslist, and I noticed that the amplifier was sitting up there, and even in the ad it said, the amp is broken. So I asked him, what's wrong with the amp? And he said it was overheating, a bunch of other little things. And I was like, I work with power amplifiers, not these power amplifiers, and most certainly not usually made of tube or with tubes in them. But I do know how to work with them, and I was like, okay, how much do you want for both of them? And he gave me a very reasonable price, and so I went and picked it up, and I came and tested it out. So it is indeed broken, and there are some things that I need to address, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, so the Egnater Vengeance comes with two channels, channel 1 and channel 2, and the master control knobs over there. We'll get over that in a second. So left to right, we've got our channel select switch there, and then our tightness, brightness, gain, and mid controls, right? That's pretty simple. And then both channels have those controls. And in fact, well, no, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so channel 1, for all intents and purposes, especially mine, it's going to be just the clean channel. Now, it is also capable of rock and roll tones. Think ACDC, Led Zeppelin type rock and roll more than anything. So it's very not high-powered gain, and it's definitely aimed at more just the rock or even country type stuff. But Egnater, I don't think so. Right? It's got your basic gain, bass, middle, treble, and reverb and volume controls for that channel. And we've got the same thing over here for channel 2. Now channel 2 is going to be the heavy metal and the heavy rock or hard rock channel. Of course the gain, bass, everything like that is the same thing. Now when we go over here to the master controls, we've got from left to right, it's the density control, which I have done my research through the manual, and it says that it controls how deep the signal comes through. So pretty much it's a bass booster or cutter, and then the presence knob, as we all know, it brightens up the tone just a little bit. Now I think the 0 for these is at the 12 o'clock, so I'll be starting there when I start my testing, but right now it's just kind of where I was trying to figure out how to make this work. Now we got second master and main master. Now, main master is obviously just the master volume control knob for the entire signal chain. The second master is for a second speaker cabinet. There is an output for it, and I'm able to make this a double stack without having to use a splitter for cabinets. So that's really fucking cool. I'm really excited to maybe get the chance to use it on a large stage one day where one PV50 150 just won't cut it, right? Anyway, I've got my standby and power switch. The standby switch also doubles as a selector switch for the 60 watt and 120 watt power output. So, going to the back, you will see I've already removed the back panel because I was just trying to see what the hell I had in here, what kind of hardware we had. So, I've got 4 6L6 tubes, and that's the fan right there, and 6, I forget the rating, but those are the preamp tubes. I've got new ones. I got the same kind that I think it needs. So, I've got my power transformers here on the left and right. I know you can kind of barely see them, but they're there. Now, left to right, obviously, power jack, and then the AC adapter to make sure I'm using the right current for this machine based on what I have for power at the house. Now, the Footswitch section here is a little confusing. Now, you might notice that I've got an XLR connector right here, and that is unique because that's what connects into the Footswitch. I've never seen that before, and I didn't think that was a thing, but apparently here it is. Now, these input jacks, I have no fucking clue what they're for. I wouldn't be able to tell you if I'm supposed to connect it somewhere on the Footswitch or to some other pedal or something like that. I have to do my research there, so we'll see what what those do. So anyway, next, the bias section. This is the part that I did not know about when I bought this motherfucker, and I was ready to risk life and limb to fix this thing up, but it turns out I don't have to. Now, if you don't know anything about amplifiers, working or even things that have power sources, it can be kind of risky. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you could actually kill yourself. And this kind of work, biasing, usually comes with the risk of killing yourself. Now, what this allows me to do is I can connect a multimeter right there, that red thing, to the test points and that common point, and bias the tubes in this amplifier. And that usually is not available in some amplifiers. So that was a really cool discovery when I brought it home. Moving on to the speaker section, I can select between 16, 8, and 4 ohms. This speaker cabinet is rated for 16 ohms, so I will keep it at 16 until I'm done testing with it. Now here's the input jacks for the main and extension speakers. Again, right there it says use this first for the main. So until I get a second speaker cabinet, I will not be using that second extension. Now this is what I'm super excited about, and I've got an announcement coming up that's making this even more important. But here's my record line out. It's an XLR input jack, and that means that I can plug this motherfucker, this Egnater Vengeance, directly into an audio interface with an XLR and record that way, or record live, so I can still play live. Everybody in the room can hear me, but I can also record myself and listen back for, when I need an ego boost. So that is really cool. And finally, I've got the effects loop. Now the effects loop, again, very, very unique. I've never seen this. I didn't know that you could adjust the levels in an effects loop. So I'm gonna have to play around with this a little bit, especially because really the only thing that I use my effects loop for is the cock blocker. And I don't know how much or what kind of damage even I can cause by adjusting the levels from return or send when I'm only using it for a noise gate. So, and finally, I've got my Footswitch here. It's got 6 buttons on it. It's got 6 buttons on it, and I can boost the mids. Well, there we go. Sorry, bad video quality, but I can boost the mids on channels 1 and 2, or both. So that'll be really helpful during live concerts when I'm gonna go to solo, because sometimes I feel that my solos are a little underpowered. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut back to the main screen video for a little more talky, and then we'll come back here while I'm fixing I'm replacing the tubes and everything. So.